Hi. Welcome to the Golden Apple Show. This is your host, Jackie Njeri. By the way, have you subscribed? Click up on your button and subscribe, comment, and share with your friends as well. This platform gives you an avenue to share your story. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the highs and lows of life. I keep saying this. There's nobody who doesn't have a story. And that story is what makes the whole of you. You need to own it and you need to share it with pride. Your story could be the key to someone else's prison. Today I have a beautiful lady on set. She wants to invite us into her world and share her story. It has some sad bit from getting pregnant at an early age and, being clueless, to getting married and being in an abusive marriage and having to leave and start her life over again. But she's here with me, telling me that all hope is not lost. She still wakes up, dresses up, and shows up wherever she's needed. Regina, asante sana kwa kukam.
Thank you.
Nataka utupige intro. Who is Regina?
Yeah. My name is Regina Nduku Ndunge. I'm a mom, I'm a mentor, I'm a friend, and above all, I'm passionate about life. Yeah. So my story begins when I was 22. So I get pregnant after college. I was brought up in a children's home. So actually I had the best life. I thank God that Ananda Marga was part of my life. So we were in a setup like you're not exposed to what goes on in life. You don't know how to handle life situations. Then after college, I leave. After high school, I leave. I come to Nairobi. From Mombasa, I come to Nairobi. I joined Nairobi Aviation College. I was staying with my relatives, my cousins. So, unajua you're not being watched by anyone, so you practically have to run your life on your own. So, I was actually very careful when it came to my life. Because imagine you're being sponsored. These people expect something from you. As much as they expect something, you have to be someone.
Who are these people that sponsored you? Who are these people that expected something out of you?
The Children's Home, Ananda Marga. Ananda Marga is actually a mission that runs, it's a non-governmental organization that runs children's homes, schools. Yeah. And it's actually Hindu-based. So they're actually passionate about children from orphans, needy, broken families. So they actually took me in when I was 4. From my village, actually my mom died when I was 3 months old, according to the information I gathered later on. My mom actually died when she was in Kisumu, when I was 3 months old. So the man that is supposed to be my dad disappeared because it was a police case. So the police just found home. They took me. They went home. They informed my family. So my grandma came, picked me up as a baby. I went to Machakos. So my grandma was the one that was always carrying me till I was 4. Fortunately, in the 90s, Salvation Army was growing. So the children's home was new it was growing. They were bringing missions to Africa. So through Salvation Army Church, nikapata opportunity through the church that my aunt used to go. So they identified me from the village. Imagine the whole village, they just took the 2 of us. Me and my other sister. She's called Catherine, but she's not my sister. We are just from the same village, but since we were in the children's home together, we are just sisters. So tukaenda.
Sorry, you were an only child?
No, I was not an only child. We were many. Like when my mom died, like when she was brought back home and buried, she was buried as a single mother.
Okay.
Because when this man disappeared, they had brought nothing like mahari.
Okay.
So my mom had 2 other children, like my elder brothers. Then my auntie had also left her marriage. She had also other kids. Then these traditions, like my grandma had only girls. So my grandma had also brought another woman who had children from another man. So you find that we were so many of us. So it was just that family that you just pity these people. We were not even rich. We were just people were just struggling. So when the opportunity came, they wanted a girl. Luckily, I was the only girl from my mother's side. So they took me.
Wow.
And my brother, who was also taken to another children's home in Kangundo. So that is how we left. I still have a memory of how we came to Nairobi with my auntie. She handed me over to a certain lady that was from the Salvation Army. They took me to Mombasa. The lady our first mom was from Indonesia. She took us. She took me the clothes that I was wearing, because that is just a memory that she doesn't want you to remember. She gave us new stuff. I was welcomed. You were given your own bed. I practically felt I was at home.
Yeah.
Imagine you had this big house, you have everything, you're going to school.
Wow.
So we actually had the best life. So the Umama, later on she came. Everyone that came into our lives was the best. Because me, I would never tell you that there was a time in my life when I was in the children's home we suffered. We had the best. We would even have these holidays to Savo. We'd go to beach camps. Like we had,
Real?
Yeah. There were those people that would come. Jackie, I want to take these kids out for holidays, Savo, 3 days. People used to go. So we had this good life. Jackie, you're a child. You found yourself there. You're not aware of yourself. So you're growing up knowing that this can't be my mom. At Fanani, she's white.
Yeah.
But there's no point that this lady has ever treated you to feel unwanted. She has always been there.
Oh, wow.
So we grew up knowing. So when I was in class, when I was growing up, in Kafka, that stage, I think adolescence. I started thinking too much. I had to even go to a psychiatrist. I was almost admitted to a mental hospital because I was thinking too much. So I almost ran mad because I was overthinking. I almost ran into depression. I was that bright kid. My grades went down because I don't know what I didn't do right, but that just happened. So
like, were there intervention? Like, what made them take you to a psychiatrist?
Yeah, because
what made them?
Because I was actually, I would say things. I would see things. Alafu, imagine you're being number 1, you're dropping like you're number 7. In Africa point, you're number 22, like you're the last.
Yeah.
So that's really made the mother feel. So she was like, "Hey, apana, this one." The mother took me to a normal hospital. The doctor kasema, "Apana, I can't handle this. I'll hand you over to a doctor." Our mom handed me to one doctor, Eric Karega. He handled my case well. So akasema, so when he was handling my case, I'd go every time I go. Now I come back healed. I'd accept. Alafu that state, because I wasn't doing well in school, I didn't feel like I wanted to be in school anymore, and that was so wrong. So later on, took a push from class 6, class 7, class 8. When people were doing exams, I was admitted in a hospital. So when I was doing my KCP, when I was doing the indexing exams, I got index 22.
Out of
22. You can just imagine you've always been number 1 from class 1 to class 7. So you're index 22. Regina, I'm telling you, Jackie, I started encouraging myself. There was we had a mom, she used to live there as our matron. She was Auntie Grace, so she used to encourage me so much. She was a Christian. She used to encourage me so much. She was like, "Regina, you can do this. This doesn't mean that it's the end for you. You can still move forward." She used to take me with her to the fellowships, to tunaomba. So that is the only way to fight whatever I was feeling, and I felt better. So I was like, KCP is here. This thing has given me confidence. I'm no longer having those episodes anymore. Like, even if I don't feel so okay, they take me to Dr. Karega. Dr. Karega, it got to a point that because the meninite was too expensive, she told our mom, "I'll be treating her for free." God bless that man wherever he is.
So she was treating you for what exactly?
like counseling. I was also being given these medications zenye zinakusaidia you sleep. So there
You
was,
had insomnia as well?
yeah, it even happens to date. There are sometimes it happens. Yeah, so yeah, so it like those episodes would used to happen at the beginning of the year, like in March.
Oh.
So it was a cycle. So
Yeah.
like I would go there like maybe once or twice in a year, or maybe if it is too much, I would go like regularly. But it came, KCP kakuja, I did my exams, I was confident. Imagine I had gotten like 100 and something marks previously in the indexing exam. Hey, the KCP came, I believed in myself, I prayed. Hey, when the KCP came, the results came out, I had gotten 266 marks. That was, I think I was number 6 in our class. Wait. So when the deputy, because we also had, the children's home also had a school.
Yeah.
So everything has to pass from our mom's hand. So our deputy, the deputy of the school was like, hey, Regina, ebu come here. I'm like, what? Why is he calling me? So I'm not so sure what is not happening. So me, I was actually prepared for anything. Even if it meant that if I failed, I would have repeated, I was okay with it. So I'm here. I can go to high school. Our mom is so proud of me. She was telling me like, you did well.
Yeah.
So we went to school. We went to high school. We were admitted. We were 3 of us. So we were admitted to Pwani High School in Form 1. Form 2, we refused. We said we don't want to study in the day school because you can just imagine you've been in this place all your life. You're coming back to this place. We were like, we want exposure. So we called for a meeting.
So as children, you wanted exposure?
As children, we wanted to like go to other schools, like boarding schools, because you know we were like the second. All our girls had gone through day school. So our mom doesn't want to take us to boarding school, so she's telling us it is already a boarding school. You're already in a boarding school. Why would you even want to go to another boarding school? Why do you guys want to like take yourself to another prison? We are like, hey, Apana, we want to go. So the 2 of them were taken to a boarding school in Taita. Me was taken to a boarding school in Mombasa. That was called Portrais Academy. So I went to this school. I went to this school in Form 2, the first time, second time. Guys broke into our school, like robbers. They came, they stole, they almost raped some girls, God forbid. So actually, I got traumatized. Yeah. Like, me, I've never seen such a thing in my life. And this, our director is like, Apana, let's just handle this here. It shouldn't get to the ears of the school or ears of the parents or something. I'm sorry to say, but some of the girls that were affected by that, we took her to Kaenda, went to the office, education office. They handled the case. We came back to school.
That was brave of you.
It was actually brave of us. Like so, you know, that school that I was in, it was an expensive school. So the director was partly paying for my fee. And I still did that. Because I don't know. So we went, kenye kilifanyika kikafanyika. And one thing I like about this man, he understood that we were kids. He understood that it was our right to do that. Me, he never judged me. He never questioned me. When I don't even know if my mom knows that part of the story. I don't know if anyone ever told her. So I got sick. They called home. I was picked. So now that is where they consulted from our African matrons there. They were like, oops, this girl, it's maybe the spirits from her ancestral land that are disturbing her.
Oh, like you were re-triggered again?
Yeah. So they were like, this girl has to go back home to go find out the source of whatever is disturbing her. Probably these Kamba people will know how to handle her or treat her. Because this is...
How are you behaving?
Yeah, I was behaving like, sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes I'd behave like my head is gone.
Like what were you doing for them to have this kind of concern and for them to say urudi ukambani wa kuangalie?
Me, I'd say I was seeing things. I was seeing people talking to me. There are even times like I would in the night I would see like mtu anakuja kunibeba. I would just have this weird. So every time it gets to that point, like ukini attack, I would beat you up. So ikafika to that point. One of our, so when you go to the children's home, there's always a document that is signed. There's always someone that you can get in case of anything. So they actually called one Stephen Mabeka. He came, picked me up. We went home. He took me to our village. Zaki, I'm telling you, when I go to that village, I was surprised. Mi sijaiona nyumba yenye imejengwa na matope. Like these people were, it was not a good first impression to me. So when my grandma, that uncle explained to my grandma what is happening, my grandmother was like, we are going to handle this, don't worry. So they took me to a traditional healer. He did something and I was okay.
Were you aware of the process? Like, did they fill you in on what was happening, or they just ambushed you and did whatever
they did? Ambush me, actually. They told me what is happening. They took me somewhere to Kitui. They treated me. Like, it worked. I'm sorry to say, it worked.
No, don't be sorry, because
it actually worked.
If it worked for you, then it's a good thing.
Then I went back to Mombasa. I was okay.
No more attacks, no more hallucination.
No, nothing. I was okay. So that is in third term. I did my exams. I did well. I went to Form 3. So after that, I was okay. So I went. So when you're having these episodes, it affects your education. It affects your concentration level. Then it affects almost everything about you. But I thank God. God gave me friends that understood me. So I had this friend that was called Violet Wanjiku. She was a lovely girl. Every time I would go through such things, she was like, Regina, this is a normal thing. Just take it easy. She'd tell me. So when it got to that point, the psychiatrist told our mom, hey, this girl is probably suffering from homesickness. Don't be allowing her to stay in boarding school from like the whole time. Just allow her to go to school from Monday to Friday. Then on Saturday she comes, she stays. On Monday she comes back to school. So actually that worked for me. So this Violet was my friend. Like she also went and also cooked her own story there. So we used to go home with her. She tells me, let's pass by my house, you have lunch, then you go. That's how things were. We actually did our KCSE. I didn't do so well. I went back home. Now, you're 18, the government doesn't allow you to stay there. So I go back home, and there I have to deal with myself. No one pays attention to me. Your mom is not there. So you just have to survive. Even if you want pads, no one will buy for you, because you're
on your own.
I'm on my own. So I had my late auntie. I went and I talked to her. I explained to her. I told her, hey, Miyaki, I don't think I want to continue staying here, because if I continue staying here, I might just end up pregnant, or I find myself probably married to these village people, and I don't want, this is not even my life. So she actually sacrificed. She gave me money. I went to, after not doing well, I met our mom. I came to my brother's place. Our mom brought the results. I really cried. I didn't do well. I was like, Apana, how do you even get a D? Apana. So she was like, what do you want? I'm like, hey, I think I want to just go back to school. I want to go back to high school.
You wanted to repeat?
Yes. And she called a school, one school in Machakos called St. Luke's. She called, they accepted me to be going to Form 4. So akanipanga, she gave me the school fees. She just went to the bank, withdrew the money. She just trusted that I'd go. She drew the money. She bought me uniform. She bought me books. She told me, Sasa, whatever is remaining, it's up to you. If you don't want to go to St. Luke's, look for a school, get admitted, but don't get a school that is that is expensive, because she doesn't think she's going to pay. So since there was one of our girls there, one of our sisters, her name is Mira, she was also in that school. I was like, hey, I'll just go where that girl is in case of anything. She's there for me. In case our mom needs to send something for me, like stuff, nikasema tu let me just go. Simi nikaenda shule. Aki, I never used to smell with anyone, Jackie. Nikimagine venye I used to think that ati kwenda kucheza shule it's going to help me, blah blah blah. So I was serious, I was studying, I was that good. Yani like hakuna mtu angepita English kwa hiyo shule. Like I was serious, I was obedient. Ungenipata, I wasn't in trouble. The only trouble I was in maybe ni kutoka kwa dorm late na chapwa, story inaisha. So actually I tried my best. Tukamaliza, I did better. So unajua, I was staying with my brother during that time. So nikaenda home. The wife hakuwa ananitaka huko kwao. So nikafukuzwa.
Any particular reason?
The particular reason was that I had friends like wasichana. So we used to go to church kwa sababu we used to live in a slum huko Soweto. So hiyo setup hiyo slum, it's that slum that ukipatana, if you go hang out with the wrong people, you're going to just get lost. So the only place we used to go hang out is at church, Catholic. So as we used to go to the Akina Fiona, even my brother knew Akina Fiona. So my sister-in-law started making up stories that I'm going out with boys, something that I really feared. Because I was like, hey, I find myself pregnant. I've not yet gone to college. Hey. So the particular reason was that my sister-in-law wanted me to always be in the house. Like she didn't want me to have exposure. Like, yeah, so that was actually not a valid reason for someone to put words on my brother, but it was still okay.